Hey guys, it's Rex. I got into a really interesting spot earlier playing 25 NL Rush on Bovada, and I think it brings up some really important concepts that really need to be thought about if you want to improve your game. I'm gonna go over the hand here. I'll replay it. And I don't know what the deal with the video quality is after recording it and removing stuff and whatnot. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out, but you have to bear with me until then. And see this crappy video quality on the recorder. I raised with ace queen under the gun, and the flop came king jack 3 with two spades. Um, and the big blind checked me, and I c bet obviously. I have to c bet. It's just mandatory, pretty much here in this spot. I think, anyways. Guy in the button folds, and the big blind check raises me. Eventually, he check raises me, anyways. I'll wait till I click back down there and I'll pause it real quick. Okay, in this spot, going off the metagame of the players at these stakes, especially in Bovada. And if you don't know what the metagame is, the metagame is basically a game it's the game within the game. And as you go up and down stakes, um, players react differently in different spots. And typically on flush draw boards, okay, well, just look at this board in general. What hand at these stakes would a player be check raising with? Well, he's probably never doing it ever with a set of kings. Maybe king jack. I doubt it though. Maybe king jack. Probably not doing it with jacks. The only hand that I can see that's just crushing me right now, but I still have outs to get, so I still can hit a 10 on turn. The only hand that's really crushing me is a set of threes, and that means his range is so heavily weighted towards flush draws and combo draws on this board that even though I just have ace high, I'm likely ahead. And that brings up another thing that I've been wanting to go over with people. When you make a read and you're like 70-80% sure of a guy's range, don't don't run away from that read. Just stick with it. You'll learn a lot. Even if it's the wrong read, you'll learn a lot, and you can change up and reevaluate your game afterwards. But here I was so confident that this guy had queen 10 of spades, ace 10 of spades, maybe the 9 10 of spades. So I made a sick call here. It's kind of a float. I was hoping to bluff him eventually in this pot and just take it from him if a spade didn't hit. It's not exactly what happened. I call here, and the turn is a 2 of clubs, which is the perfect card if my read's correct. And he bets again, like 8 into 12. And I was just so sure he had the queen 10, ace 10, 9 10 of spades, that I made another sick call here. It was just so sick that I just couldn't decide if I really wanted to do it, but I eventually made the call. And then he shoves the river. And I want to talk about that. I end up calling, and I end up finding out my read was pretty much right, but it's a little sick right here. You'll see why after I call. He had the 4 or 5 of spades, and he hit a 5 on the river and ends up winning the spot. But let's just look at this spot. There's no way he's ever winning here if he misses completely. So he has to bet to win. So the majority of it, let's how many outs does he have? He has 6, 9, 15 outs. 15 outs. So like 30, 33% he had after the turn. So like 65, 70% of the time, he's just stacking off into us with 5 high. And we can profitably make this call with ace queen because we understand the metagame of the stakes that we're playing at. We understand the types of plays that the majority of the players make at a certain level, and we can make a near perfect read on in a spot and be able to make plays that are so far how do I want to say this? How do I head and shoulders above the rest of the field. And I think this spot is so profitable. It's so sickly profitable, even though it looks like I just spewed off my entire stack. I really don't think I did. Like I said, like after that turn, I'm he's stacking off to me like 65% of the time. 65%. It just seems perfect. And this whole idea, this video, it's I think I'm gonna start making a whole series of videos, and I'm gonna start breaking down poker into spots, particular spots. Like to to equivalate this to something else, like I'm sure a lot of people that play poker play or at least watch football or sports fans or something or other. But think about it, like a football team, they go to practice and they practice for like 3rd and 10 situations. They have a whole set of plays in their playbook for 3rd and 10, and it's probably for like 3rd and 7 to 12, that range. And then they have a set of plays they do for 7 and short or longer than 12 yards. Yada yada yada. Well, there's no difference in poker. Like we we end up putting ourselves in. Well, we don't put ourselves in. The game puts us into these situations over and over again. And you have to start thinking about these situations and breaking down the components and looking at how a group of players at a certain stake play that spot. And then you have to decide what the best counter strategy is for that. And that's how you start to get really good at this game. And then when you get really, really good, players start adjusting to your adjustments, and then you have to readjust. It's this whole long thing, this game theory. It's this huge mind game, back and forth, back and forth. And you just, like right now, like at these stakes, 25 NL, or if you're playing like 1-2 at the casino, I don't even think up to, well, at least not on Bovada, like 1-2 here on Bovada, which I do a lot. I've even gone up to 5-10 here on Bovada and played 5-10. But these players are just soft. Like they don't balance anything. There's no balance. They're all in each group of each stake level, I guess. They all make pretty much the same plays, and there isn't really a huge gap in skill level, it seems like to me. And all you really just gotta start looking at how these players play, how they look at certain spots, like this spot. This guy flopped a flush draw. Um, I don't. It's really low flush draw. I don't know why he check raised the flop. It was kind of weird. I was sure I was gonna see queen 10 or 9-10 like 90% of the time there. The turn bet, it makes more sense, a lot more sense. He had picked up some more outs there. But just players at these levels, and I don't. Players in general, it seems like they like to check raise with flush draws, and they like to more slow play big hands, which really doesn't make a lot of sense to me, unless you're going for fold equity. But it kind of, when you start running into thinking players, they start realizing that you're not check raising your strong hands, you're just check raising semi bluff hands, and that's not balanced in any way, and it's easily exploitable, which you can see right here. I nearly stacked this guy off with ace high. But I'm gonna start going over a lot more spots. Like there was another spot I ran into earlier that I've seen a lot lately, and that's where I raise from like late position and get called from one of the blinds, and he checks to me. I bet he calls, and then the turn goes check check, and he like insta pots the river. That's pot on river. That's an interesting spot that I want to make like a whole video about. I'm gonna for like the next week. I'm gonna record spots where that comes up and see what's really going on there. And I'm also going to probably do a video on four betting spots, and start looking into how players react there. Which earlier, from that session I ran earlier, it seems like if you four bet here, it doesn't even matter how much you four bet for. Like it could just be a min raise. It seems like most people are folding, and if they're not folding, I got like one or two calls earlier, no raises, just like one or two calls, and they both check folded the flop. So I want to do a video on that and do a little bit of how do I say that? I guess study those spots and start studying other spots and see if I can get some people some input, help myself learn, help some other people learn. I think it's a win-win here. Sorry guys, this was Rex. You got any questions, concerns, comments? Let me know.